so far. Now we're ready for rugby. Can't have you guys looking at my ugly ass couch. Whoa, people. Wow, April's here. First time I've seen you in a stream, April. I never know how to say your name. Is it Escovivo? I know you've been with the channel for a long time, man. I know you're a US fan. Hoping for a Brighton-esque thing. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Hey, Marco. Hey, Charlie. Malcolm. Nice. Not as addicted. Hey, Raymond. Everybody, hope you're having a good day or a good night wherever you are. Once again, this game is only available in New Zealand on Spark, so I haven't yet started the stream. The last couple of times I've been able to do the YouTube thing and the Spark thing at the same time, so I'll turn that on now and see if that works. Hey, from Brisbane. Hey, man, how's the weather in Brisbane? It's been miserable here today in New Zealand, at least in Auckland anyway. Right, here goes the stream. Still doing pre-match stuff. Hey, from Dublin. It sounds like Escosivo. Okay, Escosivo. I will try to remember that. You know, I like to try and get names correct. It's one of my things. Scotland supporting America. Nice. Hey, from South Africa. What time is it in South Africa? It must be a similar time to Europe, right? Late morning? What are you guys picking for this one? Most people are picking England. By how much? Whoa, Ruben. That's a quick start. Instantly got happy when I saw there's a stream on. Yeah, I was tempted to stream the last one, the Italy game, but just my daughter wasn't asleep and other stuff to do. But thank you for that, Ruben. I picked out two of the Heinekens today. Do you want me to go Samoa first or do you want me to go England first, Ruben? I'll let you have the choice, Mr. Super Chat Man. Thank you for that, though. I really appreciate it. Should be a bit of fun to have the stream. 12:36. Oh, okay, so it's lunchtime. England by 20. Picking a USA win. Brave, but I mean Uruguay, so who knows? Craig said they've got to go to school in a little, so got to go. Oh, okay, man. You can monitor the game on your phone secretly while you're in class. Just don't get caught. I didn't tell you that. What does everyone predict? I think England to win by more than 6. Yeah, I think England are fairly comfortable favourites. I forget what the odds were. Was it 20 or 30 odd? Maybe more. Game hasn't started yet, so there's no score to report on as yet. Talking to Singer by 50. England by 48. Nice. England is the pick, says Ruben. All right, well, we will go with the England bottle. I couldn't find in America. I have still got a lot of bottles left. I haven't looked as to what. There's a lot of Samoa. I'll tell you that right now. I've still got at least like 4 Samoa bottles, and I've already had like 3. So somebody at Heineken here in New Zealand, I'm assuming it's here in New Zealand, likes Samoa. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Here's to a good game. Thank you to Ruben for that donation. Very, very generous of you. England by 43, England by 30-ish. Rookie numbers, Jamie. I know, man. I know. I can't drink beers all day. Rookie numbers. England using their second string, so it might be a closer game than people think. Yeah, I mean, if you notice, there's a kind of, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but Fiji made a bunch of changes, had a short turnaround, played a team which hadn't played yet. England's making a bunch of changes, short turnaround, playing a team that hasn't played yet. So it does have those few things in common. But I mean, also, look what just happened to Canada. So it doesn't always ring true, right? There is no score yet. The game hasn't started. Game starts in, I think, like another 5 minutes. Hey, Isita, how are you, buddy? England by 25. Why make 10 changes? I guess to keep fresh legs and give the whole squad a go. But yeah, it doesn't do much for continuity, but it's that kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do you get everyone tired, or do you expose the whole squad, give them a chance to impress? It's tough. They've just started showing footage of the crowd, and there's a few Americans, but a lot of English fans there. What happens if it's a draw? Both sides get 2 points, and depending on if either of them scores 4 tries, they may get 3. Hey, have you got work in the morning? I do not have work in the morning. I took 3 weeks off work. I have work. When do I have work? Next month. Next month, like on the, what's the date after the 7th? The 14th? That's when I've got work. Why would England pick first string for Tonga but second for USA? I don't know. It seems, I remember the 10-14. If you guys haven't seen their content, you should. They did a thing a while back about previous World Cup winning sides, and it seems like a lot of them picked their first string for the first game, second string for the second game, and then third game, fourth game, quarterfinal, semifinal, first string. So yeah. Oh, Bailey, $10 New Zealand, bro. Thank you. You haven't even put a comment, but cheers, man. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very, very generous. Who are you picking, Bailey? Let me know who's your pick for the winner. Are you going to show the game? No. There's a line in the title which says I'm not showing the game, and there's a line in the description which says if you want to show the game, get the game, use ExpressVPN. You can watch all the games on ITV because it's free in the UK. Sign up for ExpressVPN. Watch the game live. What do you think about what happened to Rob Howley? Is there any news on that? The last I saw, he got sent home. Was there any follow-up to him getting sent home? Has he been like charged with anything? England are wearing their red kit tonight. That's interesting. Cheer, bro. Watching from Sydney. Nice one, man. Louis, yes. Shot time. Everybody, every time someone asks if I'm showing the game and I sell the VPN, it's drink time. That's our thing. What's my score prediction? Spark Sport is good now. I've changed my mind. On my Spark Sport feed is good right now, and it was good for the last game too. Although one guy contacted me on Twitter, that was Jack, and he said that his stream wasn't going well. So I'm not sure what the deal was. My pick for this game, let me double check what I picked. I definitely picked England. England by something. I'll tell you in a second. They're trying not to talk about Rob Howley. Okay. No news in it on the investigation. Okay, fair enough. Go USA. Have you seen the South African squad? Oh, yeah. I was going to do a video on that today, but Namibia named their squad too late, so I'll do the preview tomorrow. Yeah. The South African squad's an interesting one. Quite a few changes, huh? Playing your hooker in the loose forwards. It's been done before. Dion Fourie done it. Welsh hooker does it. What's his name? God, mind blank. You know what I mean? Hey, Angus. Phil Kearns just picked England by 60 and Stuart Barnes 52. Man, what did I pick it by? Surely not that much. They're just doing national anthem as well. Oh, my Lord. Apparently, I picked England by 45. What is wrong with this guy? Okay. I must have been in a very pro-England mood because I feel like 30-ish? I don't know. Do you think Stephen Jones will do a good job for Wales? I just heard that he hasn't spoken to Rob Howley. Maybe that's a good thing. Leonardo. Are you a tea man or a coffee man? And what's your favorite biscuit to dunk? Very good question. I'm generally more of a coffee guy, to be fair. If I'm out at a cafe, I do go the mocha because I need sugar apparently. But yeah, probably the coffee. I don't mind tea, but more of a coffee guy. Favorite biscuit to dunk. Do you guys get Tim Tams in Ireland? Tim Tams. You can do this really twisted thing where I don't know if you got them. They're like two layers of biscuit with like a chocolate in the middle and then chocolate on the outside. You can bite the ends off and essentially suck the drink up through the biscuit like a straw, and it goes all soft. It's weird, but it's a thing. Tim Tams. Ken Owens. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, Ken Owens can play in the back row. Malcolm Marx has done it before as well. Lots of hookers seem to be able to do that. Second anthem is going on now. There's no score yet. We've had the American one. Now it's uh, the English national anthem. Never heard of Tim Tams. Yeah, maybe it's a New Zealand thing, Australian thing as well. I guess. I'm assuming Aussies have got Tim Tams. I'm sure I found Tim Tams in China at one point, so Tim Tams seem to be a thing. England's kit is sexy. It is a very nice kit. I do like it. I liked the Italian one in the last game though. That was pretty swanky as well. Live in Oz and they don't shut up about Tim Tams. Tim Tams are a nice biscuit, man. I don't know if they're an Australian invention or a New Zealand invention or a British thing or what, but Tim Tams are pretty good. Tim Tams aren't a thing in the UK, says April. Okay, maybe just the Australia New Zealand thing. More Yanks in the crowd that I'm used to seeing at a Rugby World Cup. Good on them. Yeah, man, it's lovely to see um, just teams that we don't always get to see play and at full grounds. But oh my lord, that crowd! The clothes are very white. There's a lot of white clothes in the crowd. A lot. Who is the player to watch tonight? P.S. Francis, former Blues man. Maybe. I know a lot of English fans were pretty upset that he made the England squad. He needs to have a good game. He wasn't that good for the Blues, to be honest. Tim Tams are penguin bars in Ireland. Ah, so they have an equivalent. Very cool. Penguin bars. I'll remember that. Yeah, I love bourbons as well. I am partial to a bourbon. There's no score yet. The game hasn't kicked off, but it is about to. Someone tell Ribsy Yanks describe America in a certain region of the country. Yes, I once used to work with a Texan guy, and I believe I used the word Yanks, and he didn't appreciate it. Wasn't a fan. Was not a fan. Right, game is kicking off right now. Big hit early. Was that P.S. Francis? Telling you, man, go to watch. What's my score prediction? I picked like England by 45 apparently, but I must have done that a long time ago because that seems excessive. But hey, you never know. In the UK, we get Shane Williams on commentary. That can't be a bad thing. It was P.S. Francis making that first hit of the game. Nice one. Aussie guy invented Tim Tams. We still claim Pavlova and Farlap, the horse. You can probably keep Russell Crowe, but I'll give you Tim Tams. Very good Aussie invention. Oh, man. England are kind of on an early attack, but one loose pass already. Still got the ball. It was interesting in that Canadian game. The Canadians went behind, but actually managed to kind of come back into it. Sometimes when the lesser team gets a few early tries put on them, you end up with a real blowout. I mean, it still blew out in the end, but Americans' defense is held. Good job. Turnover. Thoughts on the haka being banned? I might do a video on it, but nah, don't ban it. It's cool. The haka's cool as. People love seeing the haka. It's an awesome, awesome cultural thing. And I don't think that's the reason the All Blacks are very good, because there are plenty of New Zealand teams that do the haka that are not the one in the world. Our basketball team does the haka too. Squeaky shoes on the floor. Yeah, they don't win basketball world championships. The league team does the haka, and they usually lose to Australia. So, yeah. I am from Auckland. Yes, I am from Auckland. That's my hometown. Blues man. Mm. What sports do I follow? And yes, Ripsy, our basketball team is called the Tall Blacks. We like to give all our sports teams some kind of special name. All Blacks. Football team is the All Whites. Basketball team is the Tall Blacks. Cricket team is the Black Caps. Yeah. Silver Ferns is the netball team. They need to have some kind of name. I follow rugby as my main one. I also keep an eye on the cricket, but very loosely. I do not ever sit down and watch a whole day's play. I will admit that. I keep an eye on the football in England and the Champions League a wee bit, but much less than I used to. And the NHL, the ice hockey, I do keep an eye on that as well. Those would probably be the main ones. The netball, keep an eye on that, like the cricket as well, but mostly rugby these days. Haha, the Tall Blacks. Yes, I know, man. Love your videos from Auckland too. Keep it the good work. I appreciate that, Logan, man. Oh man, the USA are losing one of their players already. Mm. Is that Anu the prop? Mm. Not a good sign for America when one of your props has to go off in the first 2 minutes. That means prop number two has to play 77 minutes. Not good. Did you not watch the Cricket World Cup? I followed it pretty loosely, man. Pretty loosely. Uh, do I watch women's rugby? I don't watch as much as I should, man. I'm pretty bad like that, actually. I should watch some more. It's really fast growing here in New Zealand, which is cool to see. But I definitely don't see as much of it as I should. Do I watch AFL? AFL takes a long time. Not as long as cricket. My aunt and her cousin, oh, her cousins, my cousins, they live in Melbourne, so I kind of follow it by proxy. They're big Bulldogs fans, and my grandma, she used to live in Melbourne again before she died as well, and she was a big Essendon fan. So yeah, pretty loosely. I follow. I know everybody. I know everybody hates Collingwood, so I know a little bit. All right, we'll see if America can make anything out of this first opportunity in England's half. Not going to be easy having lost one player in the first 2 minutes, especially a prop. What's up, Mark? Hey, what's up? Rugby's on, is what's up. George Ford has just kicked England way downtown back into their own half. And McGinty's kicked it to touch, so we will have a line out just in England's half. Do you follow the Warriors in the NRL? Again, kind of loosely. The Warriors are the league team here in New Zealand, and they are also based in Auckland, and they have got a similar record to the Blues here in Auckland in that every year everyone expects them to do well. They've got better players than their performances would show, and they generally end up bombing out every year. So as a Blues fan, I can kind of feel for Warriors fans. But I've been to a Warriors game maybe once in the last 2 years, and I won those tickets. But the fact that I entered a competition to win Warriors tickets showed that I'm a touch interested, but just very loosely. I went with my dad. My dad, he follows the NRL and the like union. Man, Mako Vunipola, not Mako. Billy just had a big run. Put somebody on his backside. Try. Oh, you guys are ahead of me. Is it Piers Francis? Oh, he set it up. No. I must be behind you guys. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to be careful watching the chat. I still haven't seen it. Oh, man, that's too easy. Ford, straight through. Man. That's good for that guy because I know he gets a lot of grief in England. People don't like George Ford, but he got the try. How many times are you going to say VPN today? How many times are people going to ask me to show the game? That's how many times I'm going to say VPN. Although it does work. Good try, man. Too easy. That gap was just huge, and he went straight through it. Blues don't deserve Bodie. Yeah, maybe right. Ruben, another one, man. On track for 20K before the playoffs. Really well deserved. Cheers, Ruben, man. You're being very kind. Too kind. Yeah, the numbers around World Cup, they always just spike. Here's Ruben. So I have seen a big bump in subscribers recently. It kind of happened, like my channel went like from 0 to 500 subscribers in like 6 months. And then there were June tests in 2018, and it went to like up by 1,000. So it kind of tripled, and then it just steadily along. And then there was November test, and I went, and then it's kind of the same trend. Whenever there's big internationals on, it just attracts more attention, which is cool. Mark, do you think South Africa are going to win the World Cup? They could, man. They could. But so could England. So could New Zealand. So could Wales. So could Ireland. Those are probably like my top favorites. But then France, if they roll the dice well. Argentina, if they can get out of their pool somehow. Yeah. Australia, can't. Australia, man. At World Cup time, they always seem to peak. So their game against Wales is going to be fascinating. Oh, man. Is this another try? Thought kind of single was going down the wing there. What's your next subscriber goal? I was kind of hoping I would hit 20 during the World Cup, and that's on track. So, yeah, if I can get that, it looks like it's going to happen. Because last I checked, I was almost at like 18, and I was only on 14 like before the World Cup. So, numbers are tracking pretty nicely. Can Uruguay go all the way? Probably not. But man, they were good in their game against Fiji. That was a really big tackle on Takana Singer, man. How do Wales do against Australia? It's going to be tough, eh? It's funny as well because, like, again, if you guys don't watch the 10-14 stuff, you should. Like, they have an opinion that Wales in their first half blitzed Georgia, right? And they said then they deliberately like switched it off, as if to say we're going to use page one of our playbook, which we're willing for other people to see, and then we're not showing you nothing. The game's kind of in the bag, so we'll just go back and play, play average. So I've always thought that's kind of a bit far fetched, trying to tell rugby players just not to play well, but maybe it's a thing. I mean, I get not using particular tricks and set plays and whatnot, but yeah. When are you getting those jersey rankings from different nations? I do need to do them. I haven't seen. I figure after probably this weekend's games, I'll work on the jersey rankings video. I haven't seen all of them yet. I kind of made that mistake when I did the first ever jersey rankings I did for Super Rugby jerseys based on the promo images. And then when I saw some of the jerseys in real life, I was like, that doesn't look the same. So yeah, I was kind of hoping to see as many of them on screen before I did the video, because sometimes there is a stark difference. And America are doing the quick hands thing, but English defense is up to it for sure. Do I agree about Reece Hodge being given a suspension? I mean, he hit him high, so I don't know that Reece Hodge is like a dirty player. I don't remember him getting suspended before. So 3 games in the scheme of things, like these aren't just 3 Super Rugby games, these are 3 World Cup games. That does seem pretty tough, but he hit him high. So I saw Clive Woodward was like, but how are you supposed to stop a big guy? Like Yato, he's huge, he's powerful. Like, the answer is not to take them around the head. That's just stupid. Like, oh, well, it's okay to hit him in the head because he's that size. Come on, man, give me a break. Bailey, if South Africa want to beat the All Blacks in the final, they'd have to be fit enough to play rush D for more than 30 minutes. Is that shots fired, Bailey? It's interesting because, yeah, at times the Bok defense looked phenomenal. And then the All Blacks attack just kind of shifted and then put on some quick points, and then it kind of settled. So it's like, again, maybe it's that thing about the teams not showing their full hand. I know some people have said that Rassie was kind of holding the Springboks back as well. So maybe it is tough to keep running up and like closing that gap down. But I mean, Uruguay did it against Fiji, and you wouldn't have thought they were the fittest team in the competition. So yeah, but cool, man. I appreciate that, bro. You're being far too generous. What are you watching the rugby on? I've got it on Spark Sport coming through my laptop. Well, actually, it's my work laptop because I'm talking to you guys on my laptop, which is fortunate that my work gave me a bloody laptop. Otherwise, I would be stuffed because that's connected to the TV on HDMI cable. So, yeah. Oh, man, look at Piers Francis getting over the gain line. That guy. Did I tell you he played for the Blues? In Super Rugby? Oh man, England are going to score surely. Oh, US have got a penalty. Blame the Pimpy. That is the thing about like the rush defense for the wingers, eh? From what I understand, and I'm very far from a tactical genius, but the wingers kind of have to make a call on whether to come up or whether to stay back. And if they get kind of tricked, and it's often what the attacks do, if they get kind of tricked into coming up, then you tend to find that space out the back. So that's what happened with like Sevier Reese doing that little goose step. It's because they kind of tricked Mapimpi into coming up. So then he was able to get around him, whereas he probably should have stayed back. But oh well. It's not easy for wingers to play in that formation. Score update, please. It's 7-0 to England after 14 minutes. USA looked better than Canada did. For sure. Canada shipped 17 points really early, but then they did come right. And they had some chances to the Canadians, man. They had some chances. They just blew so many of them. I felt pretty bad for them. Buenos dias. Buenas noches, man. It's nighttime over here. Gareth O'Hare, thank you, man. £5. Opinion: Ireland versus South Africa. Also, what you think of Ireland's style of play? Get a lot of criticism for being boring. Personally, I'm a fan of it. Regards to the style, bro, if you're winning, then that's the style you should be playing. I watched like Wales' victory over Australia last year, 9-6. And I know a lot of people are, man, boring, no tries, but I was like on the edge of my seat because it was just so tense. And there's something about watching a team just clinically shut down another team defensively. And I got that feeling with Ireland over Scotland the other day. They were just like, as impressive it is to see like a winger beat two guys and go over in the corner, they were just shutting Scotland down so systematically. Seeing Stockdale come out of the line and take Russell, that's a joy to behold, man. It's not tries, but it's beautiful in its own way. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So, Ireland versus South Africa in the quarterfinals. It's tough. Like my brain kind of says South Africa, and again, I think a large part of it is Ireland's history at quarterfinals is not good, and I think that's a mental barrier. But if they can overcome it, then I've said it before. I think they could go really far. Kind of like New Zealand prior to 2011, you probably wouldn't back them at a World Cup, right? Because they were always the chokers. They were always going to choke, wait for them to choke. And they almost lost that final, so they almost did. Man, big scrum from England. But yeah, once they got over that, they seemed to come right. Like 2015 World Cup, they were a lot better. So yeah, I think quarterfinal, big mental test for Ireland. They've got the players, they've got the skills, they've got the tactics. It's just up there. Depressed over Fiji's loss, totally our fault. Only a Welsh loss on Saturday will cure this. Yeah, that is the one thing. Like, as good as everyone feels for Uruguay, you got to feel for Fiji, man, because they had really high hopes going into this competition. So I feel sorry for them. But it was a historic game, and it's just bad luck. Fiji kind of came out on the wrong side of it. They looked okay going up through the forwards, but they couldn't find that space out wide. Kind of wish they'd played more of a boring game and just kind of, trucked it up, because I thought they were getting some good pay there. I don't like Owen Farrell as captain. Eddie Jones created a team of bullies in the England squad. They do have a bit of a bad reputation. I guess that's just outside England, but if you watch Eddie at his press conferences, the guy can be really funny, honestly. I think he's been quoted this week as saying like he picked Billy Vunipola because he's better off playing than eating too much. What's that beef in Japan? Like the Wagyu beef. Basically wants to keep him fit. So, oh man, P.S. Francis with the dummy. That guy. Jeez. Former Blues player. Tell me when that gets annoying. I'm starting to get annoyed by it myself. Scramble D, yeah. What are your takes on development of rugby as a whole? There's still that gap, between the teams which have got a regular international, like top level competition, basically Six Nations and Rugby Championship, and then everyone else. Everyone else is kind of living off scraps. But I think all of us want to see the game grow. It's just hard. I mean, in how many countries is rugby the number one game? Not many. Do you think the Rugby Championship can expand? And if so, which teams can be added? I think the problem with the Rugby Championship is the travel. It's really the travel. It already makes it very difficult to schedule. Man, there's so many English in the crowd. That's impressive. Um, so yeah, if you do add more teams, it has to have like a geographical connection that's already kind of widespread. I mean, if you could get some other countries in those regions to be more, closer to that level, then you wouldn't need to have it literally kind of halfway across the world. But yeah, the travel factor. I think if they were going to expand it, they would probably go to Japan because Japan's financially there. But it'd be nice to see someone like Fiji there as well. But I don't think the money's there. I don't think he wants people to know he played for the Blues. I know, right? It is kind of shocking to me that he made England because honestly, at the Blues, he wasn't that good, but he's having a decent game so far. So I'll stop. I'll stop with those backhanded compliments. I mean, it's my team. I'm just saying he played for them. 2015, I was devastated as a South African fan when we lost against Japan, but I was excited for rugby as a sport. I'm kind of in the same position, man. Like when South Africa beat us down in Wellington, and everyone was so sure the All Blacks were going to win. We hadn't been beaten in ages. I think the only game we'd been beaten in, like at home, was that Lions test, and that's because Sonny Bill got a red card, and it wasn't like against a nation; it was against the Lions. So nobody thought we were going to lose. South Africa were on a bit of a bad run, and yeah, then they beat us. So actually, the New Zealand public as a whole was pretty good about it. Talkback radio, which usually gets flooded when the All Blacks lose, was actually pretty magnanimous and saying like it's good for the game. Well done to the Springboks getting that rivalry back. That's good. Like you can win 57-0, but then like where's the fun in that, man? It gets pretty dull. And that's good. Like that rivalry is kind of back now where it used to be. It was a bit of a blip under Coetzee. Is it still 7-0 to England? Yes. 7-0 to England after 20 minutes. But to be fair, they have been camped in the US half for most of this game, and the US just keep winning turnovers. England has had blue balls since stuffing up their last World Cup. All those fans need vengeance. That was pretty unfortunate for England to go out at their home tournament in the pool. It doesn't get a lot worse than that. So, yeah, they could use a good World Cup, that's for sure. Australian Rugby World Cup experts reckon it's only time before South Africa leave the championship and absorb into the Six Nations. I can't see that happening. I feel like, and I don't want this to happen, but I feel like the best situation for South Africa is their club teams go north, but they stay in the Rugby Championship. Then they kind of get the best of both worlds. They're in the right time zone for like the Pro 14 if they can make it a Pro 20 or something. And I'm not convinced that expansion would actually work for that competition because look what happened to Super Rugby when we put too many teams in there. But yeah, if all their players are kind of staying in Europe, maybe they lose less players abroad. Maybe they can get paid higher salaries than playing in Super Rugby. and then you still keep that rugby championship thing, so you're still getting tested against the other Southern Hemisphere teams. I think for South Africa, that's probably the best situation. Now, that would be bad for New Zealand and bad for Australia, bad for Argentina, because they would lose a ton of money. And, playing South African Super Rugby teams, which is, to be honest, that's what attracts a lot of the guys here in New Zealand, anyway, anecdotally, to union over league, is because if you play in the NRL, you get to go to Australia. But if you play union, you might get to go to South Africa, Japan. You get to go all over the world. So a lot of the guys appreciate that. Free business class trips, man. Which nation's on my beer bottle today? It's England. It was on the top of the bar on the pack. I do have second one, which is totally unrelated. Samoa. I need to get to my Lima beer as well for Samoa's next game. Has anyone seen Canada? They forgot to show up against Italy. They were good in patches, man. They blew. I don't know if you've seen my review, but they absolutely butchered a try that pretty much any of us could have scored. Catch the ball, run a few meters, put it down, but he dropped it. I mean, I don't know if I could catch a ball with like 40,000 people watching me. Probably not, but it was pretty bad. I felt really bad for the guy. It wasn't even it wasn't a pass to his feet. It was at his chest. Just stuffed it up. Who do you think has the most mana in their haka? Maybe it's Fiji or Samoa. I mean, I'm from New Zealand, so I've grown up with like watching Kapa haka and stuff. So there's something about the haka and hearing Māori, which kind of just puts the tingle down my spine. But I like all of them, man. I really like watching those. I think most people do. Especially if you've grown up kind of appreciating it. Like even people outside of New Zealand and the Pacific, if you've had any connection to rugby, you will have seen the haka and you can appreciate it. Oh man, is there going to be a try for England here? I'm kind of hesitant to look at the chat in case I get spoiled. Or American going to get another turnover? Oh, they're going to win a penalty. Didn't release. Yes, Canada butchered all their chances. They sure did. They had like 2 legit chances and several half chances, and they virtually got none. They got 1 half chance, and the guy stepped and made it a proper chance. They still wouldn't have won, but they would have done a lot better than they did. Why not have the Rugby Championship every 4 years instead of every year? It's kind of a good point that, I mean, I was still probably only fairly young, but they used to do the tours, and there was more hype about the tours than there is about the Rugby Championship, where we play the same teams kind of again and again and again. So, yeah, it's that kind of thing about familiarity, right? Once you get too much of it, then it gets a bit stale. So, but actually, the Six Nations totally bucks that trend. Like people are pumped for the Six Nations every year. Every game sells out. I think barring like Italy, France, sometimes they pretty much always sell out. And we can't say that in the Rugby Championship. Like New Zealand hosts Argentina usually at a small ground. Argentina in South Africa doesn't sell out. Oh, that's got to be a try. Hey, Mark, you're here. How are you, man? Are you still in the US? Oh, was it Billy V? Oh, nice. It seems to be a common theme that the tier 1 nations with their set piece are just a cut above, eh? So many tries have come through them all. Australia against Fiji. Today was Italy against Canada, and now against USA. Rolling ball is far too strong for the USA. I get it, man, for sure. Salute my multitasking. Trying to analyze the game while responding to comments can't be easy. Yeah, I don't know that I'm much of a multitasker. I kind of get the main bits down. and then check the comments. But I do like it. I mean, I guess it's kind of like just talking to someone next to you on the couch, except I've got to read it. But I can read. I can still read. He should kick this. Yeah, easy. 14-0 after 26 minutes. I hate to look at the stats because I feel like the possession and territory for the US will be raising the blood pressure. Have had a big metal plate to add to my collection. Metal plate, is that in your head? Hope your recovery is going good, bro. How have the USA played? Their defense has been, for the most part, pretty solid, but they've been having to do a lot of it. A lot. George Ford's got the ball in a bit of a string. I am going to try and look up those stats, by the way. Hello from Vietnam. Vietnam. Man, I think you're the first person from Vietnam on the channel. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're doing well, Mark. That is cool. Ford is playing very well. Yes, and I hope fans give him his dues because I know he's not Farrell, but he's still a good player, man. I guess it's like when Dan Carter was playing for the All Blacks, everyone else below him was kind of not ridiculed, but at least just seen as second class. America's finally got some attack and ball going on, but England's defense is looking pretty strong. Territory, 80%, 20%. Why did I look that up? 80-20. Watching from Switzerland while watching the game on ITV seems you get 20-second delay between you comments and the action. So you are 20 seconds behind on your stream. Most people are ahead of me. My stream seems to be behind most of the comments. Hello from England. Hello, James, man. Interesting crossfield kick. Yeah, didn't quite work out, but I guess good intent shown from the US. But if they're going to have 80% played in their own half, it's going to be a long night. England playing a B team, they sure shifted up their squad a whole bunch of players. They changed like 10. But they've got a very tough pool, so that's Eddie doing the squad management stuff, I guess. America are going to get another shot to attack in the US half. They're going to have a line out. From Scotland, from Devon. Ahead, okay. Why don't more Americans play rugby? So many college football players don't make it and end up not playing sports anymore. That might be a thing. I remember America have just lost their own line-out ball. They reckon there's a lot of countries that basically, as soon as you finish school, you stop playing rugby. It's just a thing. So a lot of countries, it's kind of just a school thing, and then you go get a job. I think some of the guys from like the Jaguares fans, the Argentinian guys, were saying that's just a thing. Like when you finish, you just go, you got to go to university or got to go get a job, get married. So you got to give up on the rugby thing. So it's less of a option as a career, I guess. What do you think about the South African team going to face Namibia? The South African B team is still pretty strong, man, even if you're playing guys all around the positions. This is the only way I can get live updates and commentary. Thank you. I know I end up talking half the time about like Tim Tams and Peppa Pig, but I do try to do the main bits anyway. Man, England are really holding the US out. US needs to just get some continuous ball inside the English half, but it has not happened all game. I don't think Carlin Isles is playing now. I think he's just sevens specialist. Another error from America. What team do you think Wales will put out for Australia? I feel like it's going to be probably similar to what they put out in their last game. I can't imagine them making too many changes. It's a pretty important game. And that Fiji game for them suddenly becomes important because how fired up are Fiji going to be when they play Wales? Tim Tams and Peppa Pig, yeah, bro. The conversation sometimes just drifts all kinds of places. So that's just a thing. You missed the Peppa Pig combo. The Peppa Pig conversation was like a couple of days ago. I forget why we're talking about that. Wish you're a diamond YouTube button. I'm still very, very small, but that's all good. We've got a good community going, so it's very cool. 2 Cents versus Squid Rugby. No comparison, man. No comparison. That guy's next level. He's more like an analyst, where I'm more like a dude at the pub. Get naked, Ruben. You were in the stream the other day. No, I didn't get naked. When was the last time you washed your deck? Our house doesn't have a deck, so it doesn't need washing. I saw G-Man the other day in one of his streams, and he got someone asked for a shout out for a guy named Mike, Mike, and then the surname was Hunt, Hunt. And if you say that quickly without thinking about it, it sounds like something else. So, washing my deck, DECK, is another one like that, isn't it? Squid Rugby is also a musician. He sounds like Jermaine Fly the Concords. Yeah, doesn't he? He's got like a comedy background, right? Like he did like what do you call it? Where they do like improv. I think he's an improv guy. From what I know, I don't know much about him personally. I just know he's got a good rugby brain and makes funny videos with a good dose of analysis in there as well. Oh, another try. That's a maul again. How many meters did that one go? That one went for ages. Was that Cowan Dickey? It was. Double-barreled surname. Double-barreled tries for him this tournament. Destroying them in the forwards, indeed, man. What high school did I go to? Grammar. No way. I went to Onehunga. Onehunga High School, OHS, man. Man, that maul was just too good. This could be a long night for the Americans at this rate. Squid Rugby is much more opinionated and political. That's why I prefer to just rugby talk. I guess. Yeah, I mean, he's got pretty strong opinions on Israel Folau. People criticized them a wee bit recently for talking too much smack about the French. But yeah, I just like watching rugby, talking about rugby. Well, I've already finished England, and it's not even the end of the first half. Oh, off the post. 19-0. English fans will be pretty happy with this one. Yeah, 19-0 after 34 minutes. Americans had a good team when Todd Cleaver was leading. That's true. That's why Ford isn't popular in England. Come on, man. Even Farrell missed a kick the other day, right? He's kicking better than a lot of the other guys at this tournament. Oh, man. This is a midfield maul. They're in their own half, and they just got a penalty from it. They are going to do that all game long. It's just too good. Two cents is a good balance. Yeah. I appreciate that, buddy. Comparison, Squidgy is a Tim Tam. You're more like a Girl Guide biscuit, bro. Am I the Girl Guide biscuit with the chocolate coating or just the plain old Girl Guide biscuit? I mean, they're both good biscuits. I'd say Squidge is more like a toffee pop. He's kind of a high-end biscuit. He's not the $2 biscuits. Yes, Ford is not popular in England. England is more of a Land Rover country. Okay, fair enough. What happened to Stacey that got blocked the other day? I don't know. Stacey remains on the block list. Stacey said I was like inciting hate on the English because she asked me, well, she didn't ask me, someone else asked me, why do people not like England in rugby? But that just seems to be a thing. Like, England is the team everybody wants to beat. It's like in cricket, it's the Australians. I mentioned that to Charlotte the other day. And like in ice hockey, it's the Boston Bruins is generally not a popular team. Like there are some teams who's everybody's second favorite. Like a lot of people like Fiji in rugby. A lot of people like the All Blacks in rugby. But I don't think England is many people's second team. It just seems to be a cultural thing about rugby. I don't know why it is. That's certainly not inciting hate speech. It's just the landscape of it is. That's just, for the most part, facts. Every sport has the team that people don't like. And in New Zealand rugby, it used to be Auckland because we were really good, but now we're rubbish, so nobody cares. Man United in soccer, there you go. Patriots in NFL. There's always that team that people don't like for whatever reasons. It's because they're too successful, because they're too rich, because whatever. There's reasons. Oh, the Americans just knocked it on. He was the blind side, so he was never gonna run and score a try, but still. Collingwood and AFL. There you go, right? There's always the team that people don't like. And I feel like in international rugby, for the most part, it's England. I mean, they're still a bloody good team. They're not one of the favourites for the World Cup for no reason, right? Yeah, I mean, it could go back to that historical stuff, but then in cricket, it's not really England. In cricket, it's more Australia. So I don't know how much of it goes back to the historical stuff. Don't know. Clive Woodward probably didn't help because that guy's he's a bit of a dick. Just quietly. Excuse my language. I try to keep it G-rated, but yeah, Clive Woodward probably didn't help. It's their media. Yeah, I mentioned that the other day as well. The English media can be a bit arrogant, but then so is the New Zealand media is just as bad. Honestly, the way they treated Warren Gatland when he was here on the Lions tour was just disgraceful. The New Zealand media, they were asking Rassie Erasmus questions in the press conference the other day when his teams just got beaten by the All Blacks. And they're asking him questions like, oh, did New Zealand come out with some secret plans that you didn't think of? Bro, ask him about his own team. Don't ask him like technical questions about the All Blacks, really. They ask that to Steve Hansen. Yeah. Anyway. New Zealand media is so awful. I haven't read your article, April. Or was it back to the Lions tour? Either way, yeah, the New Zealand media is really bad. Really bad. Very clickbaity. Man, America has finally stopped one of the mauls without giving away a penalty. I don't believe it. The halftime hooter has just gone, but play is still continuing. 40 minutes gone, 19-0 to the US, and they're slightly in the American half. They've just put a kick through. Oh, they've knocked it on. Oh, close. Close. Mainstream media are pretty bad all round. Yeah. Yeah, the mainstream media are pretty bad. It's just all clickbait stuff, man. Like, that's what's disappointing. I don't know. That's why I end up watching more YouTube these days than I do actually like watching mainstream news because there's too much garbage on there. Switching off ITV to avoid Clive Woodward. Ozzy on ITV. That's disappointing. How come you're not out in Japan? Maybe go to the next one in France. Believe it or not, a few years ago I was actually planning on being in Japan because it was only in 2014 that I moved back to New Zealand. So back in those days, I was still living in China, and I was like, "Yeah, man, gonna go Rugby World Cup." It's just like a skip and a jump across the water to Japan. Then I moved to New Zealand, and then I had kids. So my kids are 3.5, or almost 4, and just over 1. So they need attention, which is cool. Love my kids; they're really fun. Although my son was a right piece of work tonight. He was very grumpy, but he's gone to bed. He's been very good. So, yeah, it's just I don't know. I need to be doing dad stuff at the moment. Takes priority, but hopefully for the next one they'll be a bit older. I should be able to go. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hockey fans and players too. Yeah, could be. Do I follow sevens at all? Sevens, I don't follow much. I do. Again, I kind of keep a loose eye on it. I wish I would see more of it. Kids suck up all your money. They make you poor. Time, money. That's kind of what the kids do. But I mean, when your kid takes those first steps, that's pretty cool. Like when my son is on, like I take him on the bus sometimes, and like he'll talk to strangers, and like I'll remind him, like, you better be polite to that person. He'll be like, "Thank you for talking to me." I'm like, "You're the man." Like that. That makes it worth it. It's pretty cool when they do super polite stuff and things like that. Piece of work. Yeah, I put it mildly because he was really grinding my gears tonight. He was obviously tired. Bowden Barrett can drop kick. Yeah, he can. Plans for the channel after the World Cup. After the World Cup, it's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be a big drop off in terms of just interest around rugby. That's for sure, because every man and his dog gets out there for Rugby World Cup, but less so. But Champions Cup will be coming up as well, so I'll be covering that, which will be cool because that'll only be my second year to do that, and then Super Rugby will be on the way. So I mean, it'll be a bit quieter, but it'll still be keeping me watching rugby, which is cool. Are you a bit tipsy, man? I'm just tired, man. It's like 11:40. I've only had one beer, so I shouldn't be tipsy. But yeah, because last night's game here in New Zealand was on at 5:15. I went to bed at normal time instead of recently. I've been going to bed at 1 o'clock. So I got up at a normal time. So yeah, I've been up for a long time. I should have had a nap. I should have had a nana nap, granddad nap. You're back. Hey, Benjamin. Good to have you back, buddy. When's the Blues going to be a Titan for Super Rugby again? Hopefully in my lifetime. It's been a while. 2003. What was I doing then? Oh, God. Was I a university student? Yeah. So that's a long time ago. They have not been good. Ireland tour of New Zealand heading down, Mark. Oh, man. I'll see you there then for sure. Working hard, got to have a break. Yeah, working hard with rugby stuff is never really like working. It's not too bad. So it's kind of combining hobby with like a little bit of work, but it's fun. Italy, they beat Canada. What was the final score? 48-7. Smashed them, but Canada had some chances they didn't take. My review for that one's already up. Do I think the ref for South Africa ABs was biased? I don't think he was biased. I don't think he was bad. I think he missed some stuff on both sides. I've seen this one South African video which went and highlighted all the mistakes he made in favor of the All Blacks. I believe it got taken down with the copyright thing. And then today I saw some New Zealand fan put up like a rebuttal to say, no, this is why you lost South Africa. And it showed like just like every knock on. And there was more than I remembered from like Pollard and LaRue and all this kind of stuff. So I just think South Africa didn't play that well. New Zealand didn't play that well. They played well for like a small period. Both sides, it was their first game. It kind of showed. I think both sides will be better heading into the playoffs. Hopefully, we get a better ref because, yeah, the ref, he wasn't particularly good either. So I don't think he was biased. He was just not good. USA is getting bullied up front for sure. Big Will, they are indeed, man. Pelledri was awesome in that Italy game, that's for sure. How many rugby jerseys do I have? I don't know, man. A lot. A lot. Most of them have either been sent to me or I bought them either secondhand or on a hell of a discount because new jerseys are like $150 and New Zealand. I sure don't buy them for that price. I have no money left. What are Italy's chances in South Africa do or die game? Against South Africa. Oh, it's going to be hard, man. I mean, Rassi is doing the right thing, and he's talking about it, saying that Italy have beaten South Africa in recent years, so they're going to take it very seriously, and there's extra pressure on them having lost to the All Blacks. But you can't see Italy beating South Africa. It would be a huge upset. So I can't see it. Again, it's not impossible, but it would be very, very, very unlikely. Thought New Zealand were brilliant. They were good at times. I feel like they were lacking about a fair few loose passes. The box kicking was good. They showed some stuff with their cross kicks and whatnot as well. But their defense was not as good as they would like it to be as well. Neither side was defensively very sharp. So yeah, I think they'll get better. How much money do you earn from YouTube? It really varies. It really varies from month to month. Average month, like when it's like Super Rugby, it'll be like $300 or $400 New Zealand in a month. Which, if you're thinking like hourly pay, it's pretty poor. But when it was the November tests, I made over $1,000. So just depends on the views, man. Like once you get over 1,000 subscribers, you can start getting paid. And if it's like not your full-time job, then it's nice. Like that's what I can use to buy a microphone and to buy the camera and to buy like the odd rugby jersey and whatnot. Like $300. If you get $300 a month, you can buy a couple of jerseys, right? But if you were trying to live off $300, you would be poor. So yeah, don't tell them what you. It's not a secret. Like you can look on Social Blade to kind of get approximate earnings. It's not. It's not huge money. It's pocket money. And like I said, if you've got a job and you're getting money on top of that, like I am, it's cool because it's just like disposable income. Like if I was trying to justify spending my salary from work when I'm like repaying a mortgage to buy a bunch of jerseys, it'd be like, you're an idiot. But because that's just like extra money, it's cool to chuck it back on the channel. I'm opening my second beer, just FYI. Should Rugby World Cup expand to 24 teams? I think it's okay at the moment. Again, the problem with the rugby compared to the football is often that there's not enough genuine contenders. This is probably the most we've had in quite some time. If you were adding more teams, you'd probably be adding more that are just going to go out in the pool stages. But it is a pity that there's always that one team or two teams that have to go out in the pool stages, like Argentina, France, England. One of them's going to go out. Fiji, Wales, and Australia. One of them's going to go out. So yeah. Should Super Rugby stay at the number of teams it was last year or drop to 14? Well, it's going to drop to 14. That's just a thing. I think that's going to allow it to have a proper round robin eventually, which is going to be good. I don't know if it's a proper round robin or a partial round robin. So hopefully that reinvigorates some of the interest. But I feel like the interest that's been lost with like having too many one-sided games is not going to come back anytime soon. I think the match day experience at Super Rugby needs to improve for more people to go to the games. Like I go to the Blues games when I'm, a season ticket holder, and it's not a great experience, honestly. It's a half-empty stadium. The food and drink is really expensive and not the best quality. I can't park at the ground. I have to drive to where my mum works in Morningside and then like walk to my seats, which is not a huge deal, but like the Wi-Fi connection, I've only tried getting it to work like twice. It's pretty average. Like you've seen if you look at some of the new stadiums they build in America for the NFL, it's like properly catered that you go there to have a good time. Like you could go there and probably not even watch the game and still have a good time. I think that's probably the market you need to cater for. Like I never take my kids to the games because the games are on late, and there's nothing like if I took my kids who are quite young, there's nothing for them to do. So yeah, I feel like they could be doing a better job of the match day stuff, but there's probably not the money to pump into it. So they're still going to get bad attendances and average viewing numbers and whatnot. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant. You see Artie Savia started a podcast. I did see Artie Savia has a YouTube channel now, and Rico Ioane has one as well. He's got like 2 videos and 10,000 subscribers or something. I was like, damn, man. Took me a lot longer to get that. It's better to go to a sports bar or a pub if you get pissed than you can. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the thing. You could say instead of buying a rugby ticket to the game, go to a sports bar. You can use that to buy some better food and some better drinks and probably have a better time. I mean, I like going to the games, but they need to be doing a lot more and they don't. And it sucks as well because as a member of the Blues, they send me this feedback thing every year. Give us your feedback on what you think we could be doing better. And I always write lots and they never do nothing. It's the same stuff every year. We'll be better now. I don't have to put Reese Hodge on the park. Thank you, suspension. But Reese Hodge will be back ready for the quarterfinals, man. He's going to be back and raring to go. Who do you think's going to win the World Cup? Probably New Zealand. The food is probably more expensive at the stadiums as well. Yeah, man, it is. It's just expensive and it's average. I don't quite get how they think that works, but I mean, I don't know the economics of running the stadium. It's probably a lot more complicated than I understand, but I know that whenever like those NFL franchises build a new stadium, it is like fantastic. Not that we have the money to do that here, but it gets people to go. Anyway, I guess it's kind of like movie theaters nowadays, right? They have to try and adapt to get people to come and watch movies at the theater because it's just so easy to stay home. How much is the average ticket to a Super Rugby game? Oh, I buy a season ticket, so I'm not sure. Like $35, maybe 50 if you want a decent seat. Second half is just about to get underway. I forgot to write down the stats, so I'm just getting those now. Always need my halftime stats. Man, the run meters in this game are terrible. I lost interest in Super Rugby because I can only see the games on DSTV, which is so expensive. Super Sport in South Africa. Yeah, it's the same problem in Australia. Super Rugby is not free to air, so the audience is small. It's probably a similar problem here in New Zealand. It's not free to air. So it's still got decent interest here. It's the number one sport on when it's on, but people don't go to the games like they used to, that's for sure. I used to go to games as a kid before Super Rugby existed, and we'd get better crowds than what we do now. Oh man, Joseph's having a great game. Predicted score for Wales Aussie. I don't think I've predicted it yet. I think in the predictions video I did before the World Cup, I predicted Wales. So I think it'll be close because those two teams are always pretty close. Marla's gone off at halftime. If it's not free to air, just watch a live stream. That's true. But I don't think many people do that here. The fact that the World Cup is live streaming may open up people to live streaming Super Rugby. Oh, surely this is going to be a try. Daly probably should have passed that earlier. England is on attack again, by the way. Started the second half. They're in America's 22. They've gone 5 phases. Nope, 11 phases. Wow. 11 phases. And they've knocked it on, but they've got a penalty. If you take all the costs involved for 4 people, you can have a royal up and take an Uber after. Yeah, I mean, if it's like $40 a ticket and you got 4 people, that's a fair bit of coin that you could put to a decent meal and a few drinks at a pub, right? I think that's the problem that like Super Rugby is facing anyway, is that the match day experience doesn't justify spending the money. Dark horse. No. Maybe Australia. Is Australia too good to be a dark horse? Been to NFL games. It's not cheap. Just the thing with the Americans. Okay. Their match day experience though has to be better than what we get here. Has to be. Surely there's like TVs everywhere and stuff, right? Not windy. Like Eden Park's windy, cold, bad food, expensive. Best Rugby World Cup kit. That Italian kit tonight was pretty slick. The Uruguay one was pretty nice. Yeah, those ones I'm liking so far. Japan's one is one that looks better on the field than it did in the promo shots, but I still don't think it's anywhere near my favorite. Worst Rugby World Cup kit. Oh, did England just kick that dead? Okay. That's a let off for the US. Why the Bath shirt? Subtly supporting England. I haven't worn the Bath shirt for a long time, so I thought I would get it off the rack. It's relevant for the game without being blatant. But I was, and it's right next to me. I was wearing this one all day. So I would like to see the US get some points in the second half, if I can be a little unbiased for a second. I don't like seeing teams get done something to nil. They at least get that moment to celebrate, like Canada got that one today eventually. Oldest rugby competition in the world is the Curry Cup. Is that true? Really? That's amazing if that's a true fact. I do like kind of facts like that. Calcutta Cup, true. The Calcutta Cup goes back a long way as well. Why is the Calcutta Cup called the Calcutta Cup? What's the connection to India? That's a Googleable question, I know, but I figure while I'm here. It's no fun when you watch rugby and it turns out to be a cricket score. I couldn't agree more, man. Like you watch a side get beaten 100-0, or you watch a side win like 7-6. I think I would take 7-6. There's nothing quite like watching rugby when the team that's behind has the ball and there's like 2 minutes left on the clock, or the clock's expired, and you know the next time they stuff it up, it's game over. Or if they score, they win. It's all or nothing. There's just something about that which is, even if I'm a neutral watching the games, I still kind of get heart rate up. You know, you can't help but get that feeling. Calcutta Cup is the oldest game in rugby. Okay. Like Australia beating Namibia 142-0. Yeah, man, it gets embarrassing. And sometimes you see that, like, I don't go as much anymore, but I used to go to club rugby with my old man. And, like, you can see the clubs which have got money and then the clubs which just, like, put posters up and say, do you want to play rugby? They're all in the same division, but you just look at the teams before they even start playing and you go, they're going to get a hiding. And the ref will call the game off 5 minutes early because it just gets embarrassing. It's not good. No one enjoys that. Score predictions for Ireland, Japan. I've seen the two teams. Interestingly, Sexton is being rested, but he had a bit of a knock or a muscle strain or something, so I guess it makes sense. Japan's resting Michael Leach, although he's on the bench. Oh man, is that going to be a try to England? Sakana Singer has scored. Joseph went so close. God, how many defenders did he beat? Did like a spinorama thing. It's going to be a tough closing bit of the game for the Americans. Japan will go all out to beat Scotland. France have already beaten the Pumas. Yeah, I mean, I'm still backing Ireland for that game. I think the bookies have got it by like 20 plus points. I would hope a little bit closer than that. But Ireland looks so good against Scotland. I wouldn't put it past them to put 20 points on Japan. Also, yeah, that's bonus point for England, so they are sitting really pretty. 24-0. And George Ford's missed another conversion, though. It remains 24-0. How much did I get England? I think I picked like 45, so it might get there at this rate. And that was a bad kick. If the South African teams went north or go local, what do you think development would be like for New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia going forward? I like to think that they would keep in the rugby championship, so the development would still kind of stay similar. The game is that global that I can't imagine it going too different. But New Zealand and Australia would struggle financially, that's for sure. Because there's just so many viewers in South Africa, that's where most of the money comes from. I know a lot of New Zealand fans say if the South Africans want to go, let them go, but it's hard to say that if it means we don't have enough money to retain guys like Beauden Barrett, Kieran Reid. I think he's retiring, but you know what I mean. I mean, we have enough trouble now. Imagine doing that on a smaller budget. Oh, did America just knock that on again? The knock-ons are getting frustrating, America. Not even Chuck Norris could help the USA today. That's a bold statement, but you might be right. Oldest stadium in the world. It's Lansdowne Road. Dates back to 1872. Wow. What a mess. USA in deep trouble. I agree. The US, I mean, it's only 51 minutes, but disappointing. I mean, England's a cut above, that's for sure. But with the short turnaround and with America being fresh, all the changes England made, you thought USA will do better than this, but nah. Could the Pro 14 afford all South African teams with the travel and all? That's a good question because all the travel and all the teams is kind of what stuffed up Super Rugby. So I think the Pro 14 needs to tread very carefully before they decide to allow more teams in. Um, if they were going to do a conference system where the South African teams stayed in South Africa for the most part, they could minimize some of the travel. But yes, they would need to be very, very mindful of how they manage it. They should be looking at the mistakes Super Rugby made and not making them themselves. Expansion over the next 3 years is America, Canada, and Georgia with a Russian team coming in. It'll be interesting to see if you can get the Americans into any non-North American league because traditionally American sports compete with American teams or maybe Canada. I can't think of any where they compete with other nations in like a transatlantic or something competition. Do you like Saracens? Saracens seems to be a team that everybody loves to hate, but you can't knock that they're a good team, man. For sure. Sono Squidge often talks about them only having one fan in a lot of his videos. But I mean, I've been to Blues games recently, so I can't complain about fan levels either. I think America and Canada have their own league nowadays. Yes, they got the Major League Rugby, so I feel like that's probably the focus for the Americans and the Canadians right now. If I retired from YouTube at 88, what's the rugby world going to be like by then? I like to think World Rugby by the time I'm 88 will be a fair bit more diverse than it is now, but it's a pretty slow moving beast. Like at World Cup time, we all get very excited about all these other teams that we get to see. Oh, is England going to score? Not quite. But yeah, outside World Cup time, the non-tier one nations don't get that much love. So I think it's going to be a slow burner. Maybe my son and daughter's lifetime will see more more advancement. Am I tipsy, bro? No, I'm just tired. I got up like when my kids got up at 6. Like recently, I've been able to, because I've been off work. My wife gets the kids up and lets me sleep in. Because usually when I go to work, I get up at the same time. But I've been staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, watching the games, doing the reviews, and then like she's been getting the kids up, so I've been able to sleep late. But today, got up normal time. Getting old. Don't have the energy levels that I used to. You need a cone, bro. I'm too old for that. We will have a decent French ref in the next 100 years. I'm sure there's been decent French refs. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. USA scrum just gave away another penalty. Never too old. When will we get to meet Mrs. 2 Cents? She doesn't like being on camera. My dad is desperate to be on. When he knew that I was taking time off from work, he was like, "Oh, do you want me to come on one of your videos? Do you want, like, can I come on your videos?" Like, my dad is the ultimate just talker. He will just talk and talk and talk. He's not a good listener. He's not going to listen to a word you say. When you're talking, all he's doing is just getting ready to say his next thing. Doesn't matter what you've said. You could be talking about, like, Donald Trump, and he's already thinking about talking about that tiger video he saw on YouTube since he got a smartphone. He's going with that tiger. He's not changing his topic for anybody. But yeah, he is a rugby nut, so he wants to be on my videos. My missus not so much. Sounds exactly like your old man. Yeah, I know, right? Could be worse. Yeah, I know. He is funny. Like, he's that kind of guy. I've been with him before, walking around. Like, I'll see somebody and be like, "Oh, there's so and so, like Blues player, All Blacks player," and I'll be keeping a safe distance. My dad will just be like, "He's going. He's going to talk to him. He's going to talk to him right now. Doesn't matter what he's doing. If he's spotted you, he's talking to you. He's not listening to you, but he's talking to you." Yeah, it's pretty funny. He's not my dad. I know. Old folks, no filter. Yeah, I know. He is, and like he's really bad with the pronunciation of names. Like, but he's really universally bad. He gets everybody's names wrong. South African players, he gets them wrong. Pacific Island players' names, gets them wrong. But like even like names of English origin, he gets them wrong. So it makes me feel a bit better that my dad is just like universally bad at names. I feel like England are going to score. They are attacking America's line again. Oh, is that McConaughey? Good try, England, man. They're smashing US. Your dad's right to embarrass and humiliate. We've earned that right. You're probably right, but I'm probably going to do the same to my son. For sure. Are you going to encourage your son to play rugby? He's already been to like a rugby thing for toddlers, but it was pretty ordinary, so I pulled him out of it. He's doing swimming at the moment, but when he's a bit older, maybe. Yeah, man, Joseph's been fabulous in this game. Rugby for toddlers, it's a thing, man. It's in South Africa, it's in England, it's in New Zealand. I'm assuming it's in Australia. Rugby tots. Rugby tots. They make you buy the kit, of course, because you couldn't just do it in any old shorts and t-shirt. But yeah, foam balls. They do passing and kicking and running, and like there's obviously no contact. And the kids are hilariously bad at following instructions half the time. Great conversion, 31-0. But yeah, it's a thing for kids. Michael Phelps, 0 concussions. Good call. Yeah, good call, right? I was thinking more, we're in New Zealand, it's an island, water is everywhere, learn to swim, don't drown. But yeah, sure, 0 concussions, that's the thing as well. In Pretoria, this is called Bulgy Rugby. Okay, my Afrikaans need works, but yep, cool. I do not have a Discord. Isn't Discord usually for gaming stuff? Wheelchair rugby, man, I have not seen much of that at all. But if they want to play rugby, get it done for sure. Even if you're in a wheelchair, you should still be able to play whatever the version of the game works. Best ref is Nigel Owens. Everyone seems to like him. I mean, I definitely think he does a good job as well. The thing about him is I feel like he is one of the least by the book refs. Like he looks at stuff and goes, nah, that wasn't like that, or that happened, but maybe it was because he was slipping or something like that. He does things a bit more on gut and less on the book, which if we're looking for consistency is that doesn't work, but he seems to ref well for the most part. Wheelchair basketball. Yeah, I've seen wheelchair basketball. I know I've seen more of that than I have of wheelchair rugby. Not that I've seen a lot of either. But I think they're called like the Wheel Blacks. Or is that the rugby team? Like I mentioned, New Zealand sports teams always have like a name. Yeah. Wayne Barnes. He's still not that popular in New Zealand, but I think for the most part we have forgiven him for 2007. He's still going as well. Outlasted Richie. Agree about Owens. He can be too involved at times. It's true. It is 61 minutes. It's 31-0 to England. America have just stuffed up a line out on their own 22. They're probably gifting England another try. England are certainly looking a wee bit more in control of this game than they were against Tonga. I guess it's the second game, so that kind of makes sense, although they did change a lot of their players. So Whatever Eddie Jones has done, it's working well. Or that being said, it could also be whatever Gary Gold is doing is not working at all. Steve Walsh was a good ref. See, it's interesting that Steve Walsh was another guy who got quite involved. Less by the book, more by feeling. Those are the refs we like, and yet we also want consistency. It's kind of a catch-22. The ones who are really consistent and ping everything, oh, those guys don't let the game flow. I don't have a right answer. I'm just saying that seems to be a thing. Does Hansen have a point about tier 2 sides? They need to play more matches, or is it more on the grassroots in their own countries? I think probably both. Grassroots is definitely where it all comes from. I think that's one mistake Australia made, is probably putting too much focus on the Wallabies over like the last, was it like 15 years, and ignoring the grassroots stuff a bit, and it's cost the game. So most overrated player. Who's in New Zealand? We would probably say Geordie Barrett. Probably. So that he's based on his family name instead of his ability. Riffing on instinct is a better game to watch. Yeah, I think that tends to be the way it goes. The guys who let the game flow, but then it's hard to be as consistent that way. Seemingly. Grassroots equals rugby tots. There you go. Oh, Ruben is back. Still a student, but this should buy you a beer. Man, are you still a student? That's your third super chat, man. All right. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. You're very kind. Don't go broke. I've already paid my student loan off. I've just got a mortgage instead. I'm at that stage of life. At the mortgage stage, past the student loan stage. What are student loans like in South Africa? In New Zealand, they're interest free. You still have to pay it back. It comes out of your salary, but at least you don't get charged any interest on it. But thank you for that, Ruben, man. You're too kind. 63 minutes, 31-0 to England. It's been very one-sided, folks. Well, South Africa interest rate on student loan is like 20%. Oh, my Lord. Okay. They used to have student loans with interest when I was a student, but there was no interest on it while you were studying. So I worked part-time jobs at a car wash and a supermarket to earn money on the side. And then as soon as I finished my studies, I paid it off. I only did an arts degree, so it didn't take, it wasn't a very expensive degree compared to like law or medicine or something. But yeah, I managed to pay my student loan off pretty quickly. Didn't get charged any interest. But then after I paid it off, they switched it to no interest for life. So lucky days. In South Africa, if you just think about a loan, you already own interest. I shouldn't bring the topic up there. Sorry. The commentator on my stream just caught Watson and Laws round the wrong way. Interesting. Like one's a lock loose forward and the other is not. Maybe they got similar hairdos. Anyway. Do you think USA will score a try? Not at this rate. Like, at least with the Canada game, Canada blew like 2 clear chances and like 2 half chances before scoring. I don't think America has had 1 clear chance in this game. Did Mark write any notes about America almost scoring and blowing it? No. I wrote a few notes about them having good defense early, but can't really say that anymore. Do you like a team in English football? Liverpool. Yep, Liverpool. They're actually pretty good now, but they used to be pretty ordinary. I mean, never like really bad, but sometimes out the top 4. What do you think the plan for Steve keeping Rich on at number 10? That seems to be their thing in order. Oh, England's going to score here. Was that Ludlam? Man, England are running riot. Is that his first try for England, or has he scored before? Was that Ford with the steps? Either way, England, man, they're too good. USA are a rebel. Right now, they're not doing well. We got Ben and Tom Curry mixed up. Yeah, but Laws and Watson shouldn't really be mix-upable. Anyway. Be nice if Akira Iwane plays for Samoa. You know, he was born in Japan, so he could even play for Japan. All the core American guys played at the same time. Yeah, it is Ludlam's first try. I thought it must be, but they didn't mention it, so 30. I'm going to write down 38 before he kicks it. And I was correct. 38-0. Do you drive your missus mad that you watch so much rugby? We just plan stuff kind of carefully, so I don't want to miss out on time with the kids. I don't want to miss out on doing my actual work. So it's basically just time that I would have previously spent playing video games or watch rugby. So I could argue that it's a more productive use of my time. Okay. England have just stuffed up the restart. America's got the ball like 7 meters from the line. They gave away a penalty. Didn't release the ball. Wow. Nothing's going right for America. It wouldn't drive me mad. My husband puts up with how much I watch. What does your husband watch then? Is he a football guy? Oh, you guys mentioned handbags. Here's the handbags. Whoa, handbags. Oof, 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 oof. 38-0. That has to be the US guys instigating that. I bet you Sinclair's had a word. That guy's got, like, do you guys know the term chirping? I know they use that in ice hockey for, like, when you're trying to instigate guys. Not instigate them, but, like, just say stuff like be a halfback and just annoy people. I know Kyle Sinkler's really good at that. Like he says smart stuff that will get under your skin. Like a lot of people can say stuff, but if it's just swear words, then it's meaningless. But I think like Sinclair's got that. He's smart. He knows how to wind guys up. My husband works far too much and he loves rugby. Oh, well, at least these guys. Rugby in the right place. Oh, that's what started it. Okay, it wasn't Sinclair. It was one of the American guys putting his shoulder into Owen Farrell. He could be in trouble. He's going to be in trouble. What time was your game clock at? It is paused at 69:28 as they look at the foul play potentially on Owen Farrell. The ref said 6 white, but I think he means 7. Now he's corrected himself. Is it going to be red? It probably is going to be red. Well, if America had any chance of scoring a try, which it didn't look likely, it's probably gone even further down the toilet now. That'll be his World Cup done. Yeah, Farrell's done that kind of shot before, and Esterhazen got off scot-free. It didn't look good, so yeah, it is what it is. And poor Vasily Artemev, yeah, in the Russian game. He got hit twice like that and no red cards, but those guys have both been cited from Samoa. Streaming Saturday. I'll probably try to do at least one, I reckon. Why don't you ever show the match footage? Because to show match footage, you need to own the match footage. You can bet your bottom dollar I don't own any match footage. That stuff's expensive. Just ask Spark. Owen Farrell doesn't seem to like it the other way around. Happily for America, this happened 10 minutes before the end when they're already 38 points down. As opposed to, imagine if it happened like within the first 5 minutes. That'd be pretty bad. Falconer Singer almost scored another one. Lucky to have 0. Like when I was watching Canada earlier, if they'd finished with 0, I was actually going to make a point of saying sometimes teams are lucky to get 0, but that was not Canada in this game. In this game for America, it is kind of lucky to get 0, man. That's been really bad. Not even close. Not even under pressure. You know what I mean? Watson is looking good. From New Zealand or Australia? I'm from New Zealand. New Zealand. Where'd you get your YouTube name from? I just thought of it. Hey, I wanted to get a name which involved the word rugby, but also didn't make myself seem like real professional. So just like kind of my 2 cents on the rugby. So kind of made sense. Do you have the same questions every show? That doesn't bug me, man. You get new people along. Do you know? Fun fact about my YouTube channel. Back when I started it, at one point I was in China. My wife was still pregnant with our second child. I did a Super Rugby Dream Team video from the hospital the day that she was due to go in and have the operation. Back when I had like 500 subscribers. So very few people were around at that point. It was a very quick video because I was doing it on my mobile data. But yeah, I still picked the Dream Team. My wife was all good. She was just like sitting there in the bed because she ended up having to have like a C-section. But that's, you don't need to know about that. It's just baby stuff. But yeah, did a video from the hospital. Commitment. That's what you get from this channel. Dedication. I know, right? I should go back and find that video. It's really short because I didn't have much mobile data. But yeah, still found like not even 5 minutes, like 2 minutes to do a video. One of my few videos at the time with no whiteboard in it. Always got the whiteboard. That's bad, man. Poor wife. Actually, that's fine. Made him mow the lawn because he couldn't stand him hovering. Yeah, well, we were literally in the hospital just waiting with nothing to do. So I was like, do you mind if I just do this for a couple of minutes? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. So did the video. Have you named them after rugby players? Nah, I didn't quite go to the level of naming my kids after any rugby players. I didn't go to that level. I just picked names that I liked. And fridge magnets, yeah. My wife has actually helped me make most of the magnets. Some of them I made all by myself, and some of them I made in collaboration with my wife because she's more precise with that kind of stuff. I'm digging the channel facts. Yeah, that one goes back a wee while. Like, yeah, like I said, the channel was still pretty new at that time. Like maybe would it have been 6 months old? Maybe 5 months. First game where a team has been held scoreless. It looks like it might be. Like America have not looked like scoring at all. It's been pretty painful. Who's my man of the match? Oh, maybe Joseph? But probably some of the forwards, really, because the forwards have been all over the place. It's easy to go with the back. Oh, my. Genge is just tearing it down the wing. England have to score here. Singer's going to go. There's a hiding. What's the scoreline? If this try gets given, it's going to be probably 45-0. Before that try, it was 38-0. Genge was just phenomenal. Took like 4 guys to bring him down. They beat the first 2. Singer puts down the gas. Tio jumps on his back. Nah, he got that. It's all good. 45-0. This is an absolute hiding. What do you think of Joe Singer? He is amazing. Still very young, but he's got huge potential. He's got gas, he's got power, seems to read the game pretty well. What is not to like? And my Super Brew is stuffed. Hey, did I say I picked England by 45? I could be spot on. I picked England by 45. Seeming like a genius move right now. No more scoring. 45. If I said 44, I was wrong. England by 45. I can't make that bigger. England by 45. That's my Super Brew pick. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, God, he looks unwell. I didn't see what happened. Should have put your money down. I know it's one thing to do it on Super Brew. It's another thing to do it at the betting bookies, right? At the betting office. Picked England by 46, yeah. Do you think Apiwa Dianti used banned substances knowingly, or do you believe his side? I believe he did it knowingly. Oh, yeah. Probably knowingly. It's really hard to speculate. I don't know, man. Like, everybody who's been a drugs cheat and been busted, George Ford's just got man of the match. That's typical. The 10 always gets man of the match, but really that was the English Fords that just smashed the Americans, right? It's all built off that pack. But yeah, all the drugs cheats who have been busted, they all denied it vehemently, and then it always came out that they knew, right? Who would you like to host the next cup after France? Before today, I might have said America. Be nice if someone new got it, but South Africa hasn't had it for a while. New Zealand and Australia have both had it since then. Yeah, somewhere new. Argentina, maybe? Ireland, that's true. It's a good point. Ireland or USA, that'd be good, I reckon. Australia's chances seeing Reece Hodge got banned. I don't think Reece Hodge is that much of a player. I mean, I think he's bad. He's a solid player. I don't think he's enough of a difference maker to say that they won't make it past a certain stage because of that guy. He's fine. He's got a big boot on him, plays half the backline positions, but I'd be more concerned if, I don't know, David Pocock was injured. Backstabbed by the Scots. Never forgive them for that, says Joe. I think that showed in that Irish performance on Sunday. It'd be cool if the US hosted. It would be cool if the US hosted as long as they bought into it. Like, you can see Japan really bought into it. Would America care if they hosted the Rugby World Cup? I don't know. If you're having an island, please bring your own booze and smokes because it's outrageously expensive here. Booze is reasonably priced here, but cigarettes are unbelievably expensive. Ireland would have the next one if Wales and Scotland would have voted against us. True enough. Just realised the DJ is taking the piss out of the injured player. I wasn't paying attention. What music is it? The player has gone off. He's put his arm up, so it seems like he's all good. I didn't actually even see who it was. If it continues the trend of the same country hosting the Olympics, the following year would be the US. I mean, the US would do a certainly good job of it. They got the facilities and everything. They wouldn't have to build anything for it, much like Japan. So, in the USA, you can buy a bottle of whiskey, Irish whiskey, for less than tax paid on it in Ireland. I would imagine something is similarly true here, but maybe not to the same extent. New Zealand taxes are pretty high as well. Okay, it was number 11. Ooh, that American scrum is just getting smashed again. No more points, England. Come on. Just give the Americans a break. They just had somebody go off injured. And my Super Brew, 45 points. Piers Francis, former Blue player, has already gone off, so no need to keep impressing. Oh, Sinclair dropped it cold. US wouldn't care at all. Yeah, that's what I would worry about. Fourth pint of Hobgoblin here. Nice. Do you get more of a buzz from the Blues winning or the All Blacks? It's always more unexpected when the Blues win. You go into an All Blacks match expecting to win most of the time, whereas you watch the Blues and you don't expect a whole lot. So it probably is a little bit sweeter when the Blues actually get a win, especially over a New Zealand team. Doesn't happen often at all. George Ford, man of the match, apparently. Yeah, they showed that on this one. George Ford, man of the match. I mean, that's just that trend. They give it to the 10, but it's the Fords. Surely you got to give it to one of the Fords. US hosted a soccer World Cup and it wasn't bad. Yeah, you could be right. That's true. That is true. I mean, if you look at the games they had in Chicago, they always seem to do pretty well. But then there was the one where South Africa, oh, someone just had his pants pulled down. That's more than I wanted to see. Um, totally distracted. Wales played South Africa in the US, and it wasn't it pretty ordinary? Whoa, US getting a line break. Oh, and they've just butchered it. I would take my Super Brew getting destroyed to see the US score a try, but there's 5 seconds left, and I don't see it happening. Oh, Daly is still playing. Why not just kick it out? You're 45-0 ahead. There's literally nothing else for you to gain apart from points difference. You don't want guys to get injured. Just kick it out. Stop trying to kill my Super Brew, England. Kick it out. It's all over now. Okay, good. Don't tell me America's going to score. Oh, America stuffed it up. America should have had a try there. America should have had a try. That was a messy end. You got to score. Did they just score? There has to be a knock on somewhere in the build up. Oh my. RIP my Super Bro. I don't mind. If that try is given, that's cool. Let America take that little bit of glory at the end. England messed it up. They should have kicked it out. England should have kicked it out. There was really nothing for them to play for. Wow. Didn't kick it out. Very messy finish. Well, that's a nice little moment for America after a pretty hard night for them. But yeah, nobody's kept scoreless. Hooray. Good for America. Yeah, I'm going to call it a night, guys. Wow. I'm going to call the stream a night. I'm going to go do my video and then I'm going to go to bed. Man, I look tired. What's the time? 12:45 p.m. Yeah. Tomorrow there's no games on, but I'll still be doing videos for the previews for the 3 Saturday games, and then Saturday we got 3 games. So yeah, you guys have a good night. Thank you guys for joining me on the stream. Appreciate it as always. It's always a bit of fun. And yeah, I will talk to you guys for the next one. Stream Japan Island. I will see. I should be able to stream at least one game on Saturday. We'll see how things go. You guys have a good night. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Liwai. Thank you, Vision. Cheers, guys. And I'll talk to you again next time. See you, folks. See you, Ben.